Twins of Evil is a cracker from Hammer. It may not have the riveting, dramatic dynamics of the first two entries of the Tudor Gates-penned Karnstein trilogy, but it makes up for that with brute force, pulp, bravura, and some degree of moral nuance, where forces of traditional good and evil are concerned. Brutish Puritan witch-finders so determined to drive vampirism or witchcraft to extinction, for they declare indifference to suffering they cause common people in their wake. John Hough was a rather assertive film director. He's responsible for a film from 1970 called Eyewitness, which I've been meaning to see, and then in Twins of Evil he displays a superb 101 of what makes glorious, visceral Hammer bombast. Follow-up credits of interest include the 1972 Treasure Island picture starring Orson Welles, a film which I feel is just ever so slightly underrated, which Andrea Bianchi and Antonio Margheriti are claimed to have worked on as well. 1973's Legend of Hell House, a pretty dynamite horror work, maybe a bit underseen. 74's Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. 80's The Watcher in the Woods is not bad. 1982's The Incubus is a rather great accomplishment, another slightly underseen horror tour de force. 85's Black Arrow is a reasonable Taylor film take on the Robert Louis Stevenson novel, as of course Treasure Island had been, which boasted among its cast Oliver Reed, Donald Pleasance, and Fernando Rey. I like a bit his 88 feature, Howling 4. I like all the Howling movies up to 6. I'm a fucking awful film snobble, the only legitimate one or the other. And 1988's American Gothic is worth a look, as you would hope by the poster title and given the classic painting which it is referencing. If it is the weakest of the three, then the Karnstein trilogy really is one of Hammer's finest achievements, and Twins of Evil one of an impressive sum of immensely watchable titles they composed during their final decade, the 70s. There's a small number of films which are considered to be Hammer Studios features, which came out between 2009 and 2019. I'll only be discussing one of those, but otherwise, once we're done with the 70s, we'll be moving on from the Hammer works at last. There is a vague fourth film to the Karnstein cycle, however, as 1972's Vampire Circus is said to follow the rules of the Karnstein Gates vampires rather than those featured in the Hammer Dracula movies. As to whether that film measures up to this trilogy, we'll have to confirm that a bit later. Until then, do check out Twins of Evil if you're ever so inclined.